It can feel kind of crazy, right? Like we're bombarded with information everywhere we turn. You want to feel like you're in the know, but it's just so much.
Oh, tell me about it. And beauty advice, it's like its own whole world. Trying to sift through it all can be a bit overwhelming.
For sure. That's why we do these deep dives,
Mm,
to really cut through that noise and find those nuggets of wisdom that actually matter.
exactly. And today we're diving headfirst into a treasure trove of beauty secrets. It's going to be a real shortcut for our listeners to level up their beauty routines.
Absolutely. We're taking inspiration from this YouTuber, SimoneSquared. She's got a video titled 32 Beauty Secrets I Will Pass On to My Grandchildren.
Oh, I love the title. It really sets the tone for generational wisdom, doesn't it? Like, these are the tried and true secrets she swears by.
And that's exactly what's so cool about this. She's been into skincare since she was like 12 years old, dealing with acne and everything. She talks about building this whole library of knowledge through tons of research and personal experience.
That speaks volumes about her dedication, right? It's not just about the latest trends, it's about what she's found actually works over time.
For real. So our mission today, to crack open that library and pull out the most impactful and intriguing advice she has to offer. Stuff that our listeners can actually use right away to like enhance their own beauty game. Let's jump in. She starts with what she considers a total game changer for good skin,
Yeah.
an aloe vera and oil mixture. And she's super specific about it too.
I always appreciate that. It's not just like, oh, use some aloe and oil. There's a method to her madness.
Totally. She says skip the natural aloe and go straight for the tube stuff. And her top 3 oils for mixing: jojoba, almond, and castor oil. She also mentions grapeseed and apricot as good alternatives too.
It's smart to have options. Not everyone reacts the same to every ingredient, so it's good she's offering variety.
Right. But here's the really cool part. She shares this story about using Nature's Republic 92% aloe vera with almond oil every night as a mask. And she claims this routine completely cleared her severe acne, got rid of marks and fine lines, and made her skin super glowy.
Wow, that's a pretty powerful testimonial. It's always inspiring to hear about people who've successfully battled skin issues and found what works for them.
Oh, totally. And she even prefers this DIY mix over those expensive masks you see everywhere.
Makes you think, right? Sometimes the simplest solutions are the most effective.
Absolutely. But for our listeners struggling with acne, she has another trick. Add a tiny bit of benzoyl peroxide after the aloe oil mixture.
Interesting. So using the aloe oil as a sort of protective layer before the benzoyl peroxide.
Exactly. She says that putting benzoyl peroxide directly on your skin can be harsh and irritating, so this way it's like a buffer.
Makes sense. Benzoyl peroxide targets bacteria, which is great for fighting acne, but that doesn't mean it has to be harsh on the skin itself.
Totally. Okay, on to something I know a lot of us are curious about. Fine lines. What does she say about those?
Let's see. She recommends smothering those fine lines with castor oil, letting it soak in a bit, then topping it off with a thick layer of good old Vaseline.
Vaseline, seriously.
Apparently, the Vaseline acts like a seal, trapping that moisture from the castor oil so it can really penetrate the skin. That intense hydration can plump up those lines and make them less noticeable.
Interesting. So it's like a super-powered moisture lock.
Exactly. She even suggests smiling while applying the Vaseline to get into those tiny creases, like really working it in.
I love that little tip. And she gives a rough timeline, too. About a week for younger folks to see results and maybe 2 weeks for more mature skin.
Setting realistic expectations is so important. It reminds us that beauty routines are marathons, not sprints. Consistency is key.
For sure. Now, what about those stubborn, deep-rooted pimples that seem to stick around forever? Any advice for those?
No, the dreaded deep-rooted ones. Well, she has an immediate solution. Hydrocortisone cream.
Really? Like the over-the-counter stuff?
Yep, that's it. And she says just smother it all on. And she shares a pretty dramatic story, too, about using it when she was 14. She had this pimple on her nose that had been there for like 5 months, even started scarring.
Oh, no. I can only imagine the frustration.
Right. But get this, she says the hydrocortisone cream flattened it right out.
Seriously? That's impressive. But isn't hydrocortisone a steroid?
It is. It's a topical corticosteroid, which means it's anti-inflammatory. That's why it can be so effective at bringing down the swelling and redness of those super inflamed blemishes.
So it makes sense that it worked for her. But I wonder if there are any downsides to using it.
She does mention that you should be careful not to overuse it because it can thin the skin over time.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's potent stuff. So spot treatment only, not an all-over solution.
Exactly. She also calls it a travel essential for those unexpected breakouts. You know, those pesky pimples that pop up at the worst possible time?
Okay, I'm adding that to my travel kit for sure. Now, moving on to something you can't just buy in a bottle. Sleep. She actually claims that sleep can visibly change your eyes.
Interesting. I've heard that sleep deprivation can make your eyes look puffy and tired, but she's saying it goes beyond that.
Right. She says her eyes looked more hooded in high school when she wasn't getting enough sleep. But after university, when she started prioritizing sleep, they became more lifted, with a more defined crease.
So she's basically saying that getting enough shut-eye can give you a mini eye lift.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And she even addresses rumors about having eyelid surgery, saying the change is purely from sleep.
Makes you really appreciate the power of good sleep, doesn't it? It's like hitting the reset button for your whole body, including your eyes.
It really does. Speaking of resets, she briefly mentions a simple moisturizer she loves, recommending viewers check the links below her video for specifics.
Always good to have recommendations, especially for something as basic as moisturizer.
And now for a curveball, get this. Coconut water for beauty. Apparently, Brazilian models like Adriana Lima swear by it.
Coconut water. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Me too. She says it's amazing for hydration and plumping the skin, which can help minimize those fine lines.
You know, it does make sense. Coconut water is packed with electrolytes, so it's got to be pretty hydrating. And well-hydrated skin does look plumper and smoother.
Right. And she even gives an alternative. If you don't have coconut water on hand, you can add a tiny pinch of Himalayan salt to your regular water.
Himalayan salt. Is that for the taste, or is there something else going on?
It's not about the taste, it's about those electrolytes again. The salt helps your body hold on to water better so you stay hydrated longer, especially after a night out.
Ah, that's smart. Especially if you're not feeling your best after a late one.
Okay, now for a little tangent, but it's a super relevant one in today's world. She talks about Googling herself and being kind of freaked out by how much info is out there about her.
Ugh, yeah. The internet never forgets, does it?
It really doesn't. Then she tells this story about paying an AI, like $20 to dig up dirt on someone she thought was shady. And it actually found their address and phone number in the U.S., no less.
$20, that's a little scary. Really highlights how accessible our information can be.
Right, and that whole experience got her thinking about online safety. She brings up data brokers, those companies that collect and sell your data, which can lead to things like spam calls and all sorts of privacy nightmares.
Those data brokers are the worst. It's like they're lurking in the shadows, profiting off our personal information.
It's creepy. But she mentioned the sponsor, Aura, that can help with all of that. Apparently, they can identify the data brokers selling your info and even submit opt-out requests for you.
That sounds pretty useful, actually. Because who has the time to figure all that out on their own?
Seriously. And that's not all. Aura also offers a VPN, parental controls, password management tools, and even identity theft protection.
It's like a one-stop shop for peace of mind in this crazy digital world.
For real. And get this, she mentions a 2-week free trial so you can see exactly who's selling your info and then start shutting it down. Okay, let's get back to the beauty stuff. What does she say about hair care?
Let's dive in. First up, she raves about Moroccan oil, calling it a must-have for fighting frizz. She says it's especially helpful in places with, as she puts it, terrible water, like Dubai or Bangkok. Like it brings that silky smooth texture back to life.
Dubai and Bangkok.
Yeah.
Yeah, that humidity can be brutal on air.
Tell me about it. But a lot of those Moroccan oil products have silicones, which do wonders for smoothing down the hair cuticle. That's the outer layer of the hair shaft. By smoothing it down, you're basically reducing frizz and boosting shine.
So it's like an instant smoothing treatment.
Exactly. Now, remember that TikTok trend using castor and rosemary oil for hair growth?
Oh, yeah. That was everywhere for a while.
Yeah. Well, she confirms it actually works. She even shares her own recipe, which sounds like a whole kitchen sink situation. Castor oil, almond oil, jojoba oil, grapeseed oil, olive oil, coconut oil, like every oil under the sun, plus a few drops of cedarwood, peppermint, and rosemary essential oils.
Whoa, that's a serious blend. But what's the deal with castor oil? Why is it so special for hair growth?
She says castor oil is supreme for growth, and it's rich in ricinoleic acid, which some studies have linked to stimulating hair growth. The other oils are in there for their moisturizing and scalp-soothing properties. And those essential oils, like rosemary and peppermint, they're thought to help with circulation.
Circulation for your scalp.
Yep. Better blood flow to the scalp means more oxygen and nutrients for those hair follicles, which can boost growth.
That makes sense. I never thought about it that way. So how does she apply this magical oil concoction?
She has a specific technique. Inverting her head for about 10 minutes while massaging it into her scalp.
Wait, like hanging upside down?
Yep, basically. It's all about maximizing blood flow to the scalp.
Got it. Okay, let's move on to how what we eat and drink can impact our beauty. She starts with something simple. Green tea.
Classic green tea. What's her take on it?
She recommends drinking tons of it, especially if you're struggling with acne.
Makes sense. Green tea is full of antioxidants, which can help reduce inflammation, right?
Exactly. But she doesn't stop there. She says after you brew your tea, don't chuck the tea bag. You can use it on your skin to help fade acne scars and even as a toner.
Ooh, that's a good one. A little DIY beauty hack.
Right. And next up is spearmint tea. This one's specifically for reducing androgen levels.
Androgens. Remind me what those are again.
They're often called male hormones, and they can actually be linked to things like PCOS and acne in women.
Ah, right. So the spearmint tea helps balance those hormones out.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Although she does mention it can be harder to find in some places, like Australia. You might have to order it online.
Always good to know. And I've actually heard about this one before. There's some interesting research suggesting that spearmint tea might have anti-androgenic effects.
Interesting. So it's not just an old wives' tale.
It seems not.
Okay. Next up, we have the turmeric latte.
Turmeric lattes. Always a good time.
Right. She discovered this as a way to curb sugar cravings and reduce inflammation. And less inflammation means, drumroll please, glowing skin.
I love how she ties it all back to skin health. It's a great reminder that beauty starts from within.
And it's not just about drinking it. She even suggests a turmeric mask made with glycerin, turmeric, and honey. It's supposed to boost your glow, fight aging, and tackle hyperpigmentation.
Turmeric is a powerhouse for skincare, that's for sure.
Absolutely. But she does warn about potential staining from the turmeric, so maybe test it on a small area first.
Good advice. Nobody wants a yellow stained face. Okay, now for what she considers, and I quote, arguably the most important thing you can do for your skin, sunscreen.
Sunscreen, sunscreen, sunscreen. She's a big advocate for it, and for good reason.
For real. She hammers home the importance of applying it every single day, rain or shine, winter or summer, even if you're mostly indoors.
Because those UV rays can sneak in through windows, even in your car.
They are sneaky little devils.
She learned that the hard way. She shares this story about taking a 2-month trip to Bali and Bangkok, despite having super pale skin that doesn't tan easily.
Oh no, I have a feeling this doesn't end well.
It doesn't. She ended up with a ton of new moles, had to get a skin cancer check, and saw a huge increase in fine lines.
Yikes. That's a pretty scary real-life example of sun damage.
Yeah, it's a wake-up call for sure.
Her advice is simple. Protect your skin, stay out of the sun as much as possible, and wear a hat. She even says she won't leave the house in Dubai without a sun hat.
Good for her. She's taking her own advice seriously.
And she reminds us that we do need vitamin D, so it's all about balance. Get your sunshine in the early morning or late afternoon when the UV rays aren't as intense.
That's a good point. You can protect your skin without becoming a total hermit.
Exactly. Okay, moving on. Have you heard of mewing?
Mewing. That rings a bell. Isn't that something about your tongue? Yep. It's all about keeping your tongue resting on the roof of your mouth, supposedly to improve your jawline and facial structure.
Oh, right. It's that whole idea that proper tongue posture can actually shape your face over time.
Exactly. And it's been pretty popular online.
I mean, it's free and easy to try, so why not, right?
Right. Okay, let's talk about some gentler ways to care for your skin. She suggests a Greek yogurt mask for a natural brightening effect.
Greek yogurt. That's interesting.
Right? She says it's a popular practice in Asia. Apparently, the lactic acid in the yogurt gently exfoliates the skin.
Ah, that makes sense. Lactic acid is a natural AHA, so it helps to slew away those dead skin cells and reveal that fresh, radiant skin underneath.
Exactly. And speaking of exfoliation, she's not a fan of those harsh, scrubby exfoliants.
You mean the ones with all the little beads and stuff? Yeah, those can be pretty abrasive.
She's all about chemical exfoliants instead. Things like lactic acid, glycolic acid, and retinol.
Chemical exfoliants definitely have their advantages. They work on a deeper level to dissolve the bonds between dead skin cells, so it's a gentler, more even exfoliation.
Now, for those of us who use eye cream, she has a tip for applying it. Use your fourth finger and go super light with the pressure.
The ring finger. Why that one specifically?
It naturally applies the least amount of pressure. She says it's crucial to avoid rubbing or tugging at that delicate skin around your eyes.
Right, because that area is so thin and prone to wrinkles.
Exactly. And onto a quick makeup tip. She likes to mix her primer and foundation together before applying.
Interesting. Does she say why she does that?
She says it makes the application smoother and helps the foundation last longer. She mentions VDL as her favorite brand for this trick, and it's supposed to be pretty affordable.
Nice. Affordable and effective. That's a win-win.
Okay, ready for a weird one? She suggests slapping your skincare on, like your moisturizer, serum, everything, but only upwards.
Slapping. I've got to hear more about this.
Apparently, it's a Russian beauty secret. The idea is to gently boost circulation and help those products absorb better.
It's definitely different. But hey, if it works.
She even says it might have something to do with the benefits of increased circulation in cold climates.
Okay, that makes a bit more sense, like getting the blood flowing in those freezing temperatures.
Next up, she recommends sleeping on your back. She literally calls it sleeping like an absolute corpse, but she swears by it.
Sleeping on your back, that's specific. What's the logic there?
She says it helps prevent facial asymmetry and even things like TMJ problems. And get this, she mentions the model Magdalena Frakowiak, who attributes her amazing skin, which she calls baby skin, to sleeping this way and slathering her face in oil before bed.
Well, if it works for Magdalena Frakowiak.
Right, and sleeping on your back does make sense. Less pressure on your face, fewer sleep wrinkles.
And it's better for your spine, too, I've heard.
True. Okay, on to eye protection. She's a huge advocate for sunglasses, not just for style, but for preventing those pesky wrinkles around the eyes from squinting.
Makes sense. Sunglasses are like sunscreen for your eyes.
And they can also help prevent something called pterygium.
Pterygium?
That doesn't sound good.
It's this little yellow thing, as she calls it, that can grow on the eye. It's more common in sunny places like Australia. And she actually admits to having a tiny bit of it herself.
Wow, so she's speaking from experience.
Yep. So sunglasses are non-negotiable for her.
Good advice, especially in those sunny climates. Now, what about diet? Did she mention anything about that?
Big time. She's all about reducing sugar intake to help with inflammation. She says it can make a huge difference in preventing premature aging and puffiness.
Totally. I'm always preaching the importance of a healthy diet for overall health and beauty.
And she brings back the turmeric latte here as a great way to curb those sugar cravings.
Smart. Fighting inflammation from the inside out.
And get this. She says that after changing her diet, she doesn't even crave sugar anymore.
See? It's possible to break free from those sugar shackles. For anyone struggling with frizzy hair, she has a simple solution. An apple cider vinegar rinse, 1 part vinegar to 4 parts water.
Apple cider vinegar. Interesting. What's the reasoning behind that one?
The acidity of the vinegar helps to balance the pH of your hair and scalp, and she says you don't even have to rinse it out.
That's pretty convenient.
She also stresses the importance of massage, both for your face and your body.
Massage is amazing for stimulating circulation, relieving tension, and just feeling good overall.
For the face, she says to always massage upwards, never dragging the skin down. And she recommends trying to mimic those fancy facial massage techniques you see online.
I love a good facial massage.
Right, and don't forget to moisturize your whole body. She also mentions the benefits of adding milk to your bath, like a cup of milk in the tub.
Milk baths. I vaguely remember those from, ancient history.
They're making a comeback. Milk is naturally moisturizing thanks to the lactic acid and fats.
So it's like a mini spa treatment at home.
Exactly. And for those worried about hair loss, she has a simple tip. Sleep with your hair in a braid.
A braid. Makes sense. Less tangling and friction while you toss and turn.
Yep. Now, she brings in a perspective from traditional Chinese medicine.
Ooh, I'm always fascinated by different cultural approaches to beauty and wellness.
She says to avoid cold foods and drinks during your period.
Interesting. Why is that?
The belief is that it helps to keep everything flowing smoothly, for your reproductive health.
Yeah.
And in TCM, that's all connected to your overall well-being and ultimately your appearance.
So it's about maintaining balance and harmony within the body.
Exactly. She also has an interesting take on sleep duration. Too much sleep, she says, can be just as bad as not enough.
I've actually heard that before. It's all about finding that sweet spot.
Yep. And last but not least, she touches on the importance of stress reduction. She claims that meditation can actually help you look younger and more beautiful.
Meditation for beauty.
Yep. It's all about those telomeres.
Telomeres. Remind me what those are again.
They're like protective caps on the ends of your DNA. And they shorten as you age. But stress can accelerate that process.
Ah, right. So meditation helps to slow down that aging process by reducing stress.
Exactly. And she also throws in a little bonus tip. Good posture.
Can't argue with that one. Good posture does make a difference.
She says it instantly makes you look more attractive and confident. And finally, she briefly mentions acupressure points on the hands and feet, saying they can help with detox and enhance beauty.
Acupressure. It's fascinating how these ancient practices are still relevant today.
Isn't it? Wow, we covered a lot today.
Yeah.
This creator is a wealth of knowledge, that's for sure.
It's so inspiring to see someone who's so passionate about skincare and has really taken the time to experiment and figure out what works for her.
Absolutely. She's a great example of how beauty routines are truly personal.
And it's not just about the products, it's about a holistic approach to self-care. It's about nourishing your body from the inside out, protecting your skin, managing stress, and even being mindful of your sleep position.
It's about all of it. So, for our listeners, what stood out the most? What sparks your interest? Maybe you're curious to delve deeper into the science behind ingredients like castor oil, or maybe the philosophy of traditional Chinese medicine.
Absolutely. Don't just take our word for it. Go explore, do your research, and find what works for you.
And always remember, true beauty is about so much more than just how you look. It's about how you feel, how you take care of yourself, and how you embrace your unique individuality.